Shalom. Oh, Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Raha HaKadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. My name is Murad Debal, coming to you from the GMS campus, Indianapolis. And to all those listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom, especially to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that make up the 12 tribes of Israel. Today, as you can see, is a Chud the Builder copycat, Bruce the Juice, and was listening to the video, and of course, this is a guy that went viral for what I guess you can call rage baiting, but going amongst so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But mainly you see the Judite, the so-called blacks, where he would provoke, through words, calling them, telling them they're chimping out, calling them out their names, speaking harsh words, and wanting something to be, provoke them to actually react. Well, not really thinking what type of reaction that they're actually really trying to get, but pretty much whatever reaction they received, it's for viral clicks, and of course to get the emotional reactions out of people in the media. Nothing but causing more division, pretty much overall. And the guy Chud had an altercation where I guess he's been arrested. Okay, and so there's been a copycat, and this man here, I just came across a video, so I'm not sure what his main contents are. Excuse me. Not sure of what his contents, as far as what he puts out on YouTube, but I came across this video, and he started talking about a guy. It was a copycat named Bruce the Juice. And from what he was stating in this video is that he actually was doing the same thing that Chud, was doing. And the guy actually hit him with the car, and he's paralyzed. He actually read, I guess, maybe an affidavit or something like a police report in his video. So you could actually go to this video and if you like to subscribe or check out his content, by all means. But just hearing this, it just provoked a thought to go through a few scriptures. So I'm not going to play it, but I also had another one that I came across, and I'm just going to hit pause here. He was actually going into the same thing, but he actually was touching on several other, I guess, copycats, and had some videos actually showing the reactions and the consequences of the actions of the people who would rage bait or go out and speak harsh words. And so I got a few scriptures. And so you see, this is Chud here, this moving screen here. All right. So he's been a topic of discussion that within a couple of weeks or so or more. And it ended bad for him. And so I pulled up the word, I wanted to pull up the word contention. And contention, it is referred to an ideal, claim, or opinion expressed in an argument or a state of disagreement, strife between opponents. So a lot of times you see that in boxing, that's more like controlled. You'll have the boxers stand up before each other, and they have this contention. They start to speak things that say things that they're going to do to each other in the boxing ring, how bad they're going to beat each other up, Sometimes it gets carried out, it gets carried away, because you don't know what really is going to provoke and hurt the other person. So family members get called out, their children and wives and things of that nature. And so that's just a form that you could connect with as far as contention. Okay, it also happens just in regular life, of course, amongst people. And because we're living in America, this melting pot of different belief systems, melting pot of falsehoods and lies, it's easy to say a word and someone get very sensitive and understanding that you come from different walks of life. And so it's easily for people to get offended if they don't understand where you're coming from. But it's that much more when you actually are bringing hasty contention. And I looked that word up. And I looked up hasty contention. And it says hasty contention typically describes an impulsive or poorly thought out dispute. All right. And an impulsive, just because. And that's what, the dude Chud and a few other people. And you hear, and there's been many a times, even out in the highways and byways, when the prophets are out teaching, people ride by and they yell insults as well. Or you're not even on highways and byways. I've been out with friends or just walking, and people yell insults. Now it's becoming a point where I guess they're clickbaiting, which is another term. They're looking for some type of popularity. All right. And a lot of people that you come around are ready to, or on edge, and they're ready to actually react. And so this is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 8 or 28 verse 11. It says, a hasty contention kindleth a fire. Okay. And hasty fighting bloodshed. So when you go into, just speaking words to harm or provoke, and people don't know where who you are, then people will react, and it causes for people to be injured, to get hurt. All right. It says, if thou blow the spark, right? So he says, if you blow the spark, it shall burn. So if again, now you have contention, and then you continue to add what they say, add fuel to the fire. You starting to, as when I use the boxing term, you start to talk directly to that person or that opponent, what you're going to do to them. Then you start to go and say certain other insults, right? So this is what these guys were doing, calling these people out of their name, more likely the N word, just to get some form of reaction. And all that's doing is building up this tension, right? This fire. And he said, if you blow on it, so they continue to blow on it, and then it ends in a result of going to jail or being badly injured. It says, if thou spit on it, right? These are the two things that come out of the mouth. It says, it shall be quenched. And and both these come out of the mouth, right? So we have the scripture to tell you we should live peaceably with all men, okay, if all possible. So these are things that you're seeing that people in the world, especially Esau, Edom, so-called white man, this is just what they do. They set false accusations, they make claims, and they do a lot of these things in the media to provoke people and get a reaction out of people. And then when they get a reaction, they become the victim, right? And no one ever looks at the point of them provoking people to this point, all right? Proverbs 18:6, a fool's lips enter into contention, right? So this is foolish, enter into contention. and his mouth calleth for strokes, and that's what happens, right? You see, the other video the guy showed, it was a guy said something crazy to a man, and he knocked him out. So I didn't want to show it on the video. So there's different so many scenarios of this happening. Okay. It's the book of James. We'll end here. The book of James, chapter 3, verse 5 and 6. It says, even so the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. Right? So your mouth can get you, like they used to say growing up, don't let your mouth write a check that your ass can't cash. You have people say, watch your mouth. All right? Be careful of your tone and your speech. People in this world don't even say thank you. They don't even hold doors for people anymore. They don't even let people, if you're driving and people get cut off, they don't, say thank you, if they allow you to get in. People aren't being polite these days. And so much the more as we bring out in Timothy that we're in perilous times, so much the more we must be careful in how we react. There was a lady I did a video on some time ago, 75 years old, in Fort Wayne, when her coffee order was wrong, or her food order, coffee. She goes in to the place, has words with the 17-year-old, and as a result, an altercation ensued, and she lost her life. So these are things that we just must be careful of, and not allowing for people to, provoke, and this is discipline, our dealing with our emotions, and how people say and being emotionally regulated. You definitely will become emotionally regulated or reserved when you are following the ways of the Heavenly Father. Okay, because he's given us guidelines and how we should move, and you see certain things happening, how we should move. But let's finish it with 6. It says, the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. So like Chud, they showed many examples of him doing that, and as a result, people started coming out and talking about, his background and the lewd things that he was into, the type of person that he actually was. People start to go into your history and start to see the true disgrace that you are, or that you could be. So, everything comes out, and we're in a time that the Lord is exposing, people very, very quick. And of course, the so-called white man, the top elites, and those on the lower levels, starting with them and the other nations, as soon as things are starting to happen, you start to do things, the Lord is exposing you. And this is just a thing because Deuteronomy 30:7 says that the curses shall be placed upon all the enemies and them that hate us. All right. So with that, I hope that this lesson is edifying, uplifting, exalting to the elect body of true believers. Before I end, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha HaKadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. So next time, all those listening and learning to you, I say Shalom.